is being recorded, and a recording of the webinar will be available on the IndieCommerce Webinar Center on bookweb.org. We will post it in a couple of days. So welcome to the IndieCommerce webinar on themes. I'm Geeta, and joining me here today are Scott and Shanti. So today we will talk about themes. I'm going to switch my screen here, so if there are any issues looking at my theme, I think my colleague Scott will let me know. Okay, so first, today we are going to start with themes. Let me go back here. Okay, so in today's webinar, we will cover some of the basic concepts of Drupal themes, all the Drupal themes that are available for use on the IndieCommerce sites, the theme core features. Each theme has a set of features, so we'll go over those features. Importance of using responsive themes, selecting a theme, what to look for when you select a theme, and testing a theme before making the final selection, and about configuring themes. After the presentation, we will have time for questions. If you have questions during the presentation, you can feel free to type in the questions in the questions box on your GoToWebinar panel. We will address all the questions after the presentation in the order in which they were received. So what is a theme? In Drupal, we use the term theme a lot. And what is a theme? A theme is the presentation layer. It determines the look and feel of your Drupal site. Drupal is a content management system. And like every other content management system, Drupal framework has several layers. We are not going to go into the details of all the layers of Drupal, but I would like to point out the three important layers that are relevant to today's topic. So let's start from the bottom. So it's the content layer. What you see here, this is the content layer. The content layer is actually what stores the content of your site. All the pages, the events, the products, everything that you create on your site is a content, and that is saved as a node. On top of the content layer is the navigational layer. This navigational layer controls how you can navigate around your site. It includes the blocks, the menus, and the views. And there are other navigational items also. This, like examples of blocks, menus, and views. And on top of the navigational layer, you have the theme layer. The theme layer controls how the content looks to the site visitors. The important thing with any CMS is these layers are separate. So this gives you the freedom to offer a completely different navigational and theme presentation of your content to different users based on their specific needs or roles. Later in the presentation today, we will show you how the different store staff admins can choose a separate theme depending on what kind of work they do on their website. There is no single way for you to present the site's content. The theme layer makes it possible for you to present it in many different ways. Now let's look at some of the themes that are available for IndieCommerce sites. These are just free themes. The whole list is available on bookweb.org. If you're on bookweb.org under e-commerce and ebooks, IndieCommerce IC Help Center, and under Designed Help section, you will see a list of all the Drupal 7 themes that we offer for IndieCommerce sites. These are all free themes. The Drupal community offers a lot of free themes. And so what we do is we just make that available for our members. And you are not limited to only the themes that are listed on this page. If you find a theme out there, you can Google it, you can search online, and you will find several sources for free Drupal themes. And if you can find a theme out there, and if it's not available on our list, please let us know, and we can test the theme, make sure there are no conflicts. And if it looks good, then we can make it available for you and the other members. And okay, so every theme has its own features. When you say about features, it's like the color option. Some themes have more than one color option. They come with a color wheel. And the layout of the theme, it can be either fixed, fluid, or responsive. And the menu type. Some themes come with static menus, and some themes come with drop-down menus. Even if the theme does not have a drop-down menu, we have other modules that will help you create a drop-down menu for the theme. And also the built-in slideshows. Some themes come with built-in slideshows, and for other themes, we have to create a slideshow using views. So if you go through this list, we tried our best to collect all this information and present it to you in one page, so it'll make it easy for you to select a theme. So we have the name of the theme here, and whether it has color options, the layout, whether it is fluid or responsive, and what kind of menu type comes with the theme, and whether it is mobile friendly, and whether it's built-in slideshow, and also the link to the Drupal.org page, which will give you all the information you need to know about that particular theme. Now, when you look at the layout, there are three things we can talk about. One is the fixed, the fluid, or the responsive. And you can notice here that we only focus on fluid and responsive themes. The reason being, we want our members to move away from fixed themes. Fixed themes are not, they're just not good, because your customers will not be able to view your site on other devices. And even if they have a smaller screen, they'll have to scroll left and right to view the content. So just to give you an idea of what a fixed width theme looks like, we have a few examples. And during the course of today's presentation, we will be using a couple of tools that we use here in order to check a site's theme. Two of these are free, and the other one that I'm going to just show you now is called Browser Stack. It's a paid service, but right now, just for the demonstration purpose, I'm using a 30-day trial version of Browser Stack. So we'll go to the test site that I have. This is the ABA test site. It is set up using one of the fixed width themes. It looks fine on my browser. But if I try to view this site on my phone, so this Browser Stack actually lets me emulate different devices. So I'm going to use iPhone 5. Oh gosh, okay. Yeah, I have 0 minutes left on my free trial. So I can do something else. Instead of the Browser Stack, since it's a paid version, we have another option that you can use. That is, if you are viewing your site on Chrome, you have something called the Inspect. If you right-click on your site on Chrome and go to the Inspect option, and it pulls up your site on different devices. And right now, I have chosen to show it on Samsung Galaxy, which is listed here. So instead, I have an iPhone, so I want to look at it on an iPhone 5. And this is how the site looks on iPhone. So definitely, this is not what you want for your website, because this is a fixed width. And if members use this, you actually have to scroll to see the full thing. So this is not good. So that's the reason we are moving away from fixed width themes. Next, let's look at the fluid themes. Fluid themes are slightly better than fixed width. When you say fluid, the screen adjusts according to the display size. Whether you're looking at it on your phone or whether you're looking at it on your browser, the site looks fine. The size is adjusted. So for that, I have another example. So let's look at this test site. So this uses a fluid theme, and by looking at it, I think we can say that it uses Newsflash, which is a fluid theme. So let's look on a browser. It looks fine. Everything looks great. Now let's look at it on my phone. Now this is what a fluid theme looks like on other devices. So when you look at it, the site looks fine. You have every part of the site here. You have the blocks, you have the box on the left nav, you have the blocks on the right nav, you have the menu. Everything looks good. You don't need to scroll left or right to view the content. But the only problem here is what a fluid theme does is it minimizes the size of the display to fit your device. but it is very hard to read what is on this page. It's very hard to see what the links are for. It's very hard to see what the book title is. Although it accommodates all the content on this display, it is still not easy to read. And so this is where we come into the next kind of themes, which is the best kind, which is the responsive. So what happens in a responsive theme is, in addition to making it fluid, it also makes it mobile friendly. When you say mobile friendly, what happens for any responsive theme? The content is moved around. So you are able to see all the content. You don't lose any content. The menu is not lost, and it's still legible. So let's take a look at what a responsive theme looks like. So this is another test site, and this uses the responsive theme. And this is the most simplest responsive theme available, which is the responsive Bardic. Now let's look at this theme using inspect element. And this is what it looks like. So let me just go back to the browser view. So here you have blocks on the left nav, you have the main content, and then you have blocks on the right nav, and then you have a menu up here. Now, when you look at it on phone, what happens here is it moved the content around. So everything that was on the left nav is moved down. Everything that was on the right nav is moved down. So now every content is available on this page. It's just that it's moved around so that it is legible, it's clear, you're not losing any content, I can read everything clearly. And if you go on top, the menu is now in this form. So it's easy for me to use the menu on this one. So this is what a responsive theme does. It makes your site look good on all devices, and it's also mobile friendly. And while we are here on this inspect element on Google Chrome tool, here, this is what you do. You can choose different devices. So this is how it looks on an iPad. And if you want to do Samsung Galaxy 4, and this is what the site looks like on Galaxy. This is a free tool. So if you're using Chrome browser, you can easily use this to select your theme. Okay. And also, if you want to, some people have subscriptions for BrowserStack, and there are other tools like BrowserStack that you can use. But for us, for development and testing purposes, we need a tool like this. But as a user, it is not necessary to purchase a tool. You can just use the Chrome's inspect element to do that. And another tool, interesting tool that you can use to help decide whether your site is responsive and mobile friendly. Google offers a tool. So here what you can do is you put in your site's URL, and this will tell you what Google thinks about your site. So let's take a look at the fixed width site that we had. And let's see what Google has to say about this one. Yes, it's almost done. Okay, so this is what Google thinks. It's not mobile friendly. The text is too small to read. The mobile viewport is not set. Links are too close together. So this is not what we want for our websites. So let's look at the fixed width. The fixed width looked fine on my phone. And let's see what Google thinks about the fixed width. While we wait, I'm going to try and log into BrowserStack so that I can show it to you. So, yes, so this is the fixed width site. It looks good. If you look at here, it looks good on the phone. it looks great. At least it's not all the content is there, but still Google says it is not mobile friendly because the text is too small to read and the links are too close together. And so this is not what we want. So let's look at the third site. This uses the responsive theme. And let's see what Google says about this one. This is a free tool, and you can use this to check your site that you're currently using, the theme that you're currently using. And also, if you want to switch to another theme, and this is a good tool for you to use. And there it says, Google says, it's awesome. This page is mobile friendly, and you can view the site. This is exactly what we saw before. So this is another good way to test all the different themes, test your site using different themes to make sure you have the right theme that Google thinks it's mobile friendly, and also your customers are able to use it without any problems. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Scott. Scott is going to show you, we have several tools on the IndieCommerce site which you can use to test different themes. Before, you can first look at several themes that we offer, and also you can shortlist some of the themes, and then you can test it on your site to see if you like it, and then you can make the final decision to switch it over. So let me hand it over to Scott. This may take a minute or so, so please be patient. Thank you.
Okay. Are we coming through? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Nams here. Geeta has shown us a lot of information, and we still have quite a bit of information to go through. The next thing that we're going to look at here, now that we've looked at a list of all the themes that are available and the tools or the features that they allow, and we've also seen how to look at your website as if you were looking at it through different mobile devices. And all these are excellent tools. We have a few more. On this site, very specifically, which is Cascado Books, or more specifically, videodemo.d7.indiebound.com. This is my personal test website. By the way, I want to point out here, people may have seen this over the years, if you're looking at a list of administrative users on your site, that would be under store configuration and store roles. If you happen to see vid demo, that's me. That's me logging into your site as a store administrator rather than an ABA administrator. So I thought I'd straighten that out since we're here. So the reason we're looking at this site right now is because we've put a special tool here, and the tool is up on the top in the right sidebar, and it's called the Switch Theme tool. And what we've set this up to do is to list a number of themes, and these are responsive themes, by the way. There are more themes available, but we didn't include them all on the Switch Theme tool. So we have, if you click on the drop-down here, you'll see a long list of different different themes that are available. And if you choose one of those themes and click switch, what this website in particular is going to do is change the theme. It keeps all of the content the same. As Geeta pointed out earlier, the content is separate from the theme. The theme will dictate how that content is laid out and how it is seen, but that content will always remain the same. I can change the theme as many times as I want, but it will never alter the times on my events or the pages that are available through my menus. So just by going through, again, using all of these tools in conjunction, this is how you can look through and find a theme that works for you. So again, looking through the list of themes and the options that are available, choosing a theme, looking at it through the Chrome mobile, and all of those things will help you choose a theme and make sure you're looking at what you want. Again, here, this can help you narrow things down a little bit more. Now, keep in mind, if you're using the Switch Theme tool, these themes have not been entirely set up so that they look their absolute best. I have gone through and tried to do some things. And keep in mind also that the Switch Theme tool isn't going to tell you everything about a theme, but it's going to give you a pretty good idea of what to expect from a particular theme. Obviously, again, with themes, you can move things around, you can move blocks around and whatnot. But here, this can at least give you a decent idea of what the theme looks like. So now another thing, keep in mind, the different themes will place this Switch Theme tool in different places. I tried to keep it up in the top of the left or right sidebar, but as you change themes, just keep in mind that that tool, that block, can also move around. So you may find it, you should be able to find it up here on the top on the right, but it may wind up on the top on the left, or you may need to scroll down a little bit before you can see it. So again, just a way of taking this particular site for a test drive, change the themes. Again, you'll see how it moves the content around. It doesn't delete anything, but it does rearrange things. Keep in mind, for instance, if I start with a theme that has, let's go back down to the bottom. If I start with a theme that has two sidebars, you can see there's a left sidebar with blocks placed in it, and there's a right sidebar. But if I were to suddenly choose a different theme for my site that all of my customers were going to see, and I switched it automatically without even looking, and I chose a theme that only had one sidebar, obviously, some of my blocks are going to have to disappear. So often what happens is, let's say I change from this theme, which has two sidebars, to the bamboo theme, which only has one sidebar. And what's going to happen is some of my, obviously there are no blocks on the left because there is no left sidebar for this theme. Some of them have been shoehorned into the right sidebar, some of them have been disabled. Again, they're still available, but they're just not being displayed at the moment. So again, a few things to keep in mind. So again, the Switch Theme tool, very handy if you want to take a look at it. Just navigate over to videodemo.d7.indiebound.com and you'll see this tool in the sidebar at the top. Okay, now we're going to look at another thing. Obviously, this is only available on this particular website, on the Cascado Books website. This is obviously not something you'd want to put on your own website. So now that you can look at this test site and you can poke around on a few different themes and see how they look, again, you won't get every bit of information out of that theme, what it can do, what's available, but again, it will give you a pretty good idea, and you can usually use this to narrow your choices down. Now, when you're looking for themes, first of all, the theme that we're looking at here, the responsive Bardic, we mentioned it a couple of times. This is the default theme that we give to stores when they first sign up. We've been using this theme for a long time. We use it as the default theme because it is rather flexible, but it is also fairly simple to use. It's not too confusing. There are only a limited number of block regions and things like that, which we'll talk about shortly. The next thing I want to go into is, first of all the themes that are available through your site. So where you can find these, if you go to Appearance, just click on Appearance at the top, and what we come up with is a page that has all of the themes available. Now here on my site, you can see that there are enabled themes, and there's quite a few of them. I've enabled all of the ones that show up in that Switch Theme tool. So we come down here, we have a lot of themes that have been enabled. But if I come all the way down to the bottom of my enabled themes, I find a whole list of disabled themes. There's a bunch of them in here. A lot of these are going to be fixed or fluid, and they're not responsive, and we haven't really put all of them in there. The idea is that once you've narrowed down your choices of theme, you're going to come through here, and when you look at your disabled, you'll see that each disabled theme has an enable link. By enabling that theme, you make it available so that you can put it on your site, you can make changes to it, you can change colors on it if that theme allows such a thing, you can set the block arrangements for it, and as long as that theme stays enabled, then all of those settings will stay. So again, what I've done here is I've enabled a bunch of themes, and I've made some changes to them, and I've arranged their blocks and the sidebars and all that. So as you poke around and move back and forth between themes, they should look fairly correct. But having enabled all of these themes on my site, I also have another trick that I can do, and this is something that you can do with your site. You don't need the Switch Theme tool. So what we're going to talk about is a tool called Theme Key. And what Theme Key allows me to do is, now that I've enabled all of these, there must be about 15 or 20 of these themes that I've enabled. What I can do is I can set up this tool so that it will show me a theme on my site while my customers are still seeing my default. Now, at the top of the page here under Enabled Themes, you can see the very first one is listed as the default theme. And all of the others under it, while they are enabled, they are not my default. They are simply available for me to use. My default theme is the one that my customers will always see when they come to my site. So what I can do, again, is while I'm logged into my account, I can arrange for my website to show me a different theme so that I can play around with the colors, move the blocks around, make sure it looks exactly the way I want it. And the idea is that once I've done that, I can then make it my default theme that my customers will see. So let's take a look at how to do that. First of all, as I said, you have to come to the Appearance page, and you need to be looking at all of these themes. In most cases, stores are only going to see 1 or 2, maybe 3 themes enabled. That's going to be your default theme. You'll probably see one called the 7 theme. That is the theme that you see whenever you're looking at your site from the back end, whenever you're processing orders and things like that. Most stores will see that. So again, and Drupal advocates that you not have more than 1 or 2 themes enabled at any given time. It can get a little confusing. At the moment here, we have a lot of themes that have been enabled, and they've been configured to some extent. So now that I've had, let's assume that I've only chosen, I have my responsive Bardic, which is my default, and I have this Academia, and I have Bamboo, and I'm gonna work with just those 3. Those that I'm gonna look into. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up my Theme Key tool. So first, I need to come to this page, and I need to enable the themes that I want to work with. So I have my responsive Bardic that my customers currently see, and I have these other 2, Academia, and I have Bamboo. So what I'm going to do is, now that they have been enabled, keep in mind, if I were to click Set Default, this would automatically become my new theme. I don't want to do that. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I haven't made any arrangements for the blocks or for my menus or anything like that. So I don't want to just hit Set Default. That will put it up on my site for everyone to see. So it is only the one that I've chosen, Responsive Bardic, that I did click Set Default, and that is why it is my default theme. So now that I have my themes enabled, and really the ones that I'm looking at are Academia and Bamboo. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Configuration, User Interface, and here you can see Theme Key, and I'm going to click on that. Now from here, again, this pulls you onto a page. I'm not really going to use this page. I'm going to go all the way over to the side here on the right, and I'm going to click Settings. And on the next page, I'm going to click the last tab up here on the right, which is User Interface. And I come up with a single link that says Selectable Themes. And what this is going to show me is all of the themes that I have currently enabled. Now again, for my site, a little unrealistically, that's a lot of themes that have been enabled for this site. But as I pointed out, I really only want 2 of these to be available to me. So I'm going to use Bamboo. Okay. Just making sure we have noticed that a lot of people have their hands raised. I think that's from when people raised their hands earlier. If you can, if you have a question, leave your hand raised. If you don't have a question, if you could click on the hand icon and remove it, just to let us know. All right. I think that was the case. Okay. Again, if you do have a question, if you're raising your hand for a particular reason, write it in the questions box on your GoToWebinar panel. Okay. So again, what I'm going to do here under my theme key, I'm only going to select two of these themes. As I said, Bamboo and Academia. And the rest of these, I don't want these, well, you know what, I can leave them. I can leave as many as I want. These will be available, any ones that are checked off here, will be available for me to use on my site where my customers can't see it yet. So there are a few chosen here. I think I have 3 or 4, and I'm going to leave it like that. The two important ones, the ones that I want to look at, are going to be Academia and Bamboo. So I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to click Save Configuration. So now we're almost there. I've enabled the themes that I want to use, and I've gone to my theme key, and I've chosen those very particular themes that I want to be able to use on my site where no one else can see them. The last step is to go into my own account, and you can do that from the Hello link. So I'm going to go straight to my own account, and I'm going to click Edit. And on my account page, you're looking for this one link here, Theme Configuration. If you click on that, you again wind up with all of those themes that we've enabled, the ones that we've enabled specifically for theme key. So here's what I want to do. Now that I have all of these listed, I'm going to use the Bamboo. I'm going to select it. You can only select one at a time. By the way, there is an option at the top, don't switch the theme. That means whether I'm logged into my account or not, then I will always see the default theme. But in this case, what I'm dictating very specifically is that when I'm logged into my admin account, I will see my site in the Bamboo theme. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to click Save for that. Now when I go back to the front, I should see the Bamboo theme. Now as I move around, I can make changes specifically to the Bamboo theme. I can see what they look like, but again, my customers, if they simply navigate to videodemo.d7.indiebound.com, they will still see my default theme. It's only my particular account that is showing me this theme. So now from here, I can move around. I can look at the blocks for this particular theme. I can look at appearance for this particular theme. We're going to take a look at that in just a sec. If we go to appearance, as I said, if we just click on appearance, we go to the entire list of themes that are available. But if you go down one to settings, what you get is a link to each of the themes that have been enabled for your site, and each one of them has its own settings. So for instance, we'll go down to, let's go to the Bamboo theme, and we'll see what is available with this particular theme. Most themes will have something called a toggle display, which is simply a list of certain elements that can be turned on or off. So whether I'm showing my logo, whether Drupal is automatically displaying a site name for me, and whether my main menu is showing. Now the Bamboo theme doesn't have a lot of options here. There are only a few color options. So I can choose a background. I can choose a particular color palette, which is not very extensive. So I have a few options here. I can even move the sidebar from the right to the left if I want to. So I can make those changes here, and then I can see what they look like. Again, I'm the only one. I'm going to go back to the home after I've made those changes. And now I've actually moved the sidebar to the other side. That doesn't look so great, not with this particular switch theme tool. But again, I can now view my site in any number of different themes. And when I'm looking at that particular theme, I can go to Appearance and Settings and look at the settings for that particular theme. For instance, I'm going to go back to my account, click Edit. And again, under theme configuration, I'm going to tell it to not switch the theme. It's going to go back to my default, which is the responsive Bardic theme. So if I come back here, you can see we've now switched it back. What I wanted to show you here, if I go to Appearance, Settings, and Responsive Bardic, we can see that this theme has some other options. So there are certain areas where I can choose a very particular color. If I don't like this particular color, I can change it. I can move the little color wheel around. If I choose red, I can then choose varying shades of red. If I want something that's white, I can just pull it all the way up to the top like that. So there are a number of options, and again, there are different, let's put that value back in there. So there are a number of places where I can change the colors, and if you have a color wheel like this, as you're making changes to those, for instance, I've chosen header top, and if I choose this, you can see down below it immediately tries to show you what changes you're making. It's sort of a schematic diagram of your website. And if we come back down, all the way down here, we have toggle display, so it is displaying my logo. My logo incorporates my store name, so I've turned the site name off, otherwise it would just show my name twice. You can upload your own custom logo and your own shortcut icon, which is, by the way, a little icon that appears here on the top of your tab. So the switch theme tool, or rather the theme key tool, allows you to choose several themes and display them on your website where only you can see them. And that frees you up to make whatever changes you need to. So let's go back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the settings that are available here. If we go to Appearance and just click on Settings, we come to something that is called Global Settings. Now here along the top you can see there's a tab for the settings for every single theme that I've enabled for my site at the moment. But there is a global setting that overrides all of this, or sits above all of this. Keep in mind, you can make changes from your global settings, so if I choose to show the logo, all of my themes will show a logo. If I choose not to show the site name, then all of my themes will not show the site name. However, if I go to a particular theme and make changes to that theme and save it, those changes will override. So where my global settings may say that my site name is not visible, I can come into my particular theme and dictate that the site name is visible. Okay. And again, we mentioned the difference between enabling and default. If I go back to Appearance, we look at all of the themes that are available. The one that is at the top is listed as the default. That's the one your customers see. Now let's say I've gone through and I've made changes to my Bamboo, and I like it and I think it's very nice, and I'm ready. I can just click Set Default, and that will become my default theme. So now Bamboo is at the top after the page refreshes, and if I go back to my home page, this would be the page, the theme that my customers would see. Okay. Now, obviously, this is not the best theme, and I'm probably not going to keep this, but I do want to point out these things. So again, under Appearance, you'll see a full list of the themes. In most cases, you will find that most of them are disabled. You can enable them, which allows you to work with them. Once they're enabled, you can use your theme key tool to decide which themes you can use on your site in your own account where customers can't see it. Okay, so now as I move through and I make changes to my Bamboo and also to my responsive Bartik, as long as they are enabled, those changes will stay. If I disable a theme, it will lose all of the configurations I've set up for it. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to look at here is going to be the administration theme. It's at the very bottom of this same page, and we have the administration theme here. Again, the administration theme that we generally use is called 7. It is extremely simple. In fact, I'll show you. If I go to Store and Orders, here's a page that a lot of stores deal with, I hope. If you're using the 7 theme as your administrative theme, this is what you're going to see. And the very point of this theme is that it doesn't have blocks or sidebars. So stores often found that if they were using the same theme to look at their orders, there would be blocks covering up a lot of the information on this page. So the 7 theme obviates all of that. With the 7 theme, there are no blocks, there are no sidebars to get in the way. So this is the theme that stores like to use a lot of the time from the back end. But again, you don't have to do that. If you go to the Appearance page, all the way at the bottom, you can dictate that some other theme will be used as your administrative theme. But again, the 7 theme was specifically designed for that. So I would definitely advocate that you use the 7 theme for anything that you're doing on the back end. Okay. Okay. All right, the last thing I'm going to go over here before I turn this back over, I'm going to go over blocks, and we've talked about how themes work and the different configurations that they have. Again, each theme has its own list of settings. There may be a lot of them. There may be only a few of them. But another aspect of the theme is blocks. Let's go back to our, actually, let's come down here. We're going to find our responsive Bardic, and I'm going to set this as my default again. Okay, I'm going to go back around to the front. So, as we've pointed out, every theme displays your information. Obviously, your nodes, your events, and pages and whatnot can be found under probably under a menu, such as this. And you can create content and link to it. So I have a page of staff picks over here. It's just a page that I put together. We've covered that information elsewhere. However, we have these sidebars, and you can see each of these little blocks in here. That's exactly what they're called. They're blocks. They are discrete bits of information. Some of them have a very specific function, such as a search. Some of them are empty and they have nothing in them unless you put something in. So I've created a block where I put my logo and some store information. ABA provides this Indie Next list, and Drupal provides this upcoming events as well as the shopping cart. So all of these blocks are available, but let's take a look at how they are put together or how they are arranged. So what we're going to do is go to Structure. And under Structure, you can see blocks right at the top. Now, again, I have a lot of themes that have been enabled. So when I go to blocks, I'm looking at the block arrangements for all of these different themes. But in this case, I'm looking very specifically for the blocks for my default theme. So I'm just going to click on Blocks. And that's going to bring me to the block section of the responsive Bardic theme automatically. I can check these other themes for their block locations and arrangements, but I'm not really going to do that right now. So on this page, what we can see is that there are, first of all, you have some bold headers on the side here, have header, help, highlighted, featured. These are all block locations. These are all places where I could place a block. The header is generally way up at the top of the site. There's a sidebar that's generally on the left, second sidebar, which is usually on the right, and a few other things here. There's a few different things in the footer, and then there's a footer all the way at the bottom. And at the very bottom of this page, we have disabled blocks. These are any blocks that are not currently being used. Some of these will be blocks that you've created. Some will be blocks that come automatically with the site. Some of them are here because a module has been enabled, such as the Superfish menu. That automatically gives me 4 empty blocks to work with. So there are a few different things here that you can use. You might want to look through these, but we're not really going into the purpose of all of these blocks. What we're looking at is how to arrange these blocks. So as you can see, under the header, there are no blocks in this region, but if I look at my sidebar, I have a number of blocks there. If I want to change the arrangement of these blocks in the sidebar, for instance, if I wanted my store info at the very top, I just grab this little 4-pointed arrow, click on it, and pull it, and that's all I have to do. And that it highlights it, shows me that it still needs to be saved. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to click Save. So arranging blocks are fairly easy. If you're looking at a block down here, for instance, that has been disabled, you can always, let's take a look. Here we have a Declaration of Independence. If you click on the drop-down menu here, it's going to show you all the different block locations where this might be located. So let's drop it in the footer just for laughs. Now you'll notice as soon as I choose footer, it disappears from this part of the menu, from my disabled list, and immediately goes up to my footer, and that's where it is. That's where I'm going to leave it for the moment, and just click Save Blocks. And if I go back to the home, you can see that now I've pulled my store information all the way up to the top, and I've enabled my Declaration of Independence. It doesn't look so hot down here, but nevertheless, it is here, and you can click on it and go to that page. So obviously moving blocks around where you want them to be. In this case, since I've put my logo in this block, I want it to appear at the top of my left sidebar where it's always visible. Now, one last time, we're going to go back to Structure and Blocks. And that's going to show me the blocks for my default theme. There is a link at the top here that says Demonstrate Block Regions. And again, what this does, it shows you, so again, sort of a schematic diagram of your theme and where those different block locations are. So we have the header, which is all the way up at the top. You have something called Feature, which is right under the main menu. And we have, of course, our sidebar first, sidebar second. Highlighted and featured, they're very similar as far as what their intention is. Then we have content, and we have these little block locations. There's triptych first, middle, and last, and then footer, first through fourth, and then the footer at the very bottom. Again, most stores don't necessarily need to use all of those block locations. If you don't use a block location, it simply is empty. So for instance, I'm going to go back to my blocks, and this is the last thing I'm going to do here before I turn it back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the blocks out of my right sidebar. And I will put them back later. But for the moment, I just want to remove them and save that. So you can see, even though the responsive Bartik theme has two sidebars, if I remove all the blocks from one of those sidebars, it's not there. So now theoretically, I have now a theme that only has one sidebar, if that's the layout that I'm looking for. So keep in mind that even though a particular theme looks a certain way, it can be changed. Very often you'll be able to make specific changes to it that are very simple that will drastically alter the look of that particular theme. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn this back over to Geeta, who is going to, I think, finish up. And let's hang on just a sec.
Okay, yeah, it's Geeta here. Before we move on to the questions, there is one more feature that we wanted to mention here. It's a extra module. We have not enabled it on a lot of sites. I think only a couple of sites use it. But this is a module that will let you choose a theme for only certain pages. Earlier when I showed this page, I used that feature on purpose here because I wanted a page here which was simple, clean, somewhat similar to a PowerPoint presentation. At the same time, I wanted to be part of the website that Scott was using for demonstration today. So this is possible using a feature called Page Theme. What it does is it lets you choose a particular theme only for certain pages. So this is not enabled on most of the sites. So if you want to give this a try, please let us know and we can enable it for your site. So you can select the theme. Let's say, so I'm using skeleton. There's a skeleton theme for these pages. So all you have to do is configure the theme and then put in all the pages that you want to be displayed in this particular theme. And that's it. So if you go back to that page, so this is one page that I'm using skeleton, and then the other page that I used skeleton was this one. So this sometimes stores like to use a separate theme just for their homepage because they design their homepage to look a certain way, and that will look good on certain themes. So this is a tool that you can use to have different themes for different pages. I think that is about all we had to cover today in the presentation. we will follow it up with questions. I see there are few questions that were entered into the question box. Let me get to that. I have a few questions from Nikki. Okay. Can you read the questions from this?
Yes. Nikki asks, how do responsive themes display drop-down menus?
Okay, responsive, Nikki, your first question was, we apologize, I'm not able to switch to the question screen, so Scott is reading the questions for me. So you wanted to know how responsive themes would handle drop-down menus. Some of the themes offer drop-down menus as part of the theme. So there's nothing you need to do. You just enable the drop-down menus and it works just like that. Or if the theme does not come with a drop-down menu, or if you are not happy with the drop-down menu that comes with the theme, there are other options. You can use Superfish. Like if you look at BookSync uses one of the responsive themes, and they have the drop-down menus. And if you want to see how this looks like on a phone, in a responsive theme, you will always see that the drop-down menus collapse this way. And then you click on that, and then you'll see all the drop-down menus. So this is one way of doing it. Or we have Writers, which also uses a responsive theme, and they have drop-down menus. And if you look at it again, this theme, the drop-down menu shows up like this. So if you click on that, and then you can get to any of the sub-menus here. Okay, so the next question.
Also from Nikki, how do responsive themes display images that are wider than a mobile screen width?
Okay, responsive themes and images. Again, most of the responsive themes that we have, that our members use, most of them we have never had problems with images in general, but it is also good to know, to keep in mind that when you add images to your site, you should make sure that those images are not added as fixed width. It has to be when you add the images, it has to be the width would be 100% and not fixed width as into number of pixels. But if you notice that you have images that don't adjust to the screen, then we can see if there is something that we can fix. But in general, it's always good to be careful about what images you add, and also if they are they should not be set as fixed width. And also it just resizes the images. So if there is a lot of details in the images, then it is possible that it can get a little blurry on responsive themes. Now this is BookSync. They do have an image up here. Their logo is like a big image, a long image, and this is what it looks like on a phone when you look at it on the phone. Okay. This is their full image, and then this is what it looks like on the responsive. So it does work well, but you have to be careful when you upload images on a responsive theme.
Next question, what is considered the basic minimum width of mobile screens?
The next question was about the basic minimum width for mobile screens. I think it depends on the theme that you use. It is a property of the theme, and I think a person who develops the theme, a theme developer, would be able to give the exact answer for that question. Unfortunately, we are not front-end theme developers. We just use the theme that Drupal offers. But if you are going to hire a developer to work on a custom theme, then I think that information should be available to them through any site that offers help on developing themes for any mobile devices. And also Drupal.org may have some information regarding theme development for mobile devices.
Next question. Are the rules each theme uses to define its responsiveness listed out somewhere?
Are the rules each theme uses to define its responsiveness listed out somewhere? I think the best place to get that information would be from the themes page. Like all the free themes used by Drupal sites, they are contributed by different community members, the Drupal community members, and they always have a website with additional information about these themes. I think we did on our help pages, we did add some of those. I can quickly go to that. For the themes that we added, we provided a link for the Drupal.org page on that theme project. I think that would be the best place to get additional information regarding the theme. Next question from Nikki. Can you use the demonstrate block regions function to see where those regions go when displayed on a mobile? The demonstrate block regions. Oh, the link on the blocks page.
So if you go to the blocks demonstration page and then view it in the Chrome mobile, would that work?
Actually, Nikki, we are going to try that right now. Let's look at one of the themes that we have. Okay, Cascade Box. I need to log in to see I'm logged in. Okay, so blocks. And this is the demonstrate block region for responsive. And let's use the inspect element to see where it goes. It does, Nikki. Actually, this is the first time I've looked at it. Thank you for asking that question. It does. So you can use it to see it on a screen. And the Chrome inspect element is, I think it's one of the best tools, and we use it all the time. Of course, there are other services like Browser Stack, and I think there's one more, but for that you need to pay a yearly subscription, and we don't recommend that. There is no need. Just with using this inspect element, you can get it to work. Okay, so the next question from Stacy. In order to arrange blocks in a second theme I'm working on, I go to my own account, change theme configuration, and then go to the block area.
Yep, that is correct.
Yes, Scott says that is correct. Yes. So when you are using the theme key feature, and then you select a theme for your particular account, any changes that you make to that theme, only you are going to see it. The theme layer, as we said, it is like the top layer, and below that is the navigation layer where the blocks and the menus fit in. So you can choose different combinations of the theme layer and the blocks layer to make the site look any way you want. And as long as you're using the theme key and you're the only person selecting that theme, then only you will see it. Once you log out and you're looking at your site as an anonymous user, then you will not see the changes that you made to that theme that you selected. Okay, those are all the questions we see right now. If there are any additional questions, please add them to the question box, or if you'd rather speak, we can just raise your hand, we can unmute your microphone, and you will be able to ask the question. And some of our attendees are using phones to follow the webinar, so you may not be able to type in the question box. So if you do have questions, please let us know and we can unmute your microphone. Nikki, I just want to make sure that we answered all your questions. I can unmute your microphone if you can confirm that we answered your questions, or if there's anything further that we can help you with.
Hey, I had one more question. Is there any way to have a different logo displayed when the site is viewed on mobile devices? Like, can you have a responsive logo?
Um, no, I think the logo is still the same. The logo that you upload to the website, whether you're viewing it on a browser or on the phone, the logo is still the same. You can choose not to display. No, I guess not. No, the logo is still the same because you're using the same theme on the browser and the phone. So it's going to be the same logo. But it will, like as I showed you to you on BookSync, the logo will resize for the responsive theme, but it is still the same logo. And I think Scott has something to add. I'm going to unmute Scott so he can start talking.
All I wanted to point out is that it is no. All I wanted to point out is that it's possible to create, for instance, I put my logo for my site, I put it in a block. It is possible for me to have several blocks with different logos in them, and a particular block might appear on a particular page. I don't know if that's not going to change by theme though. It's not going to change by theme.
It will still be the same.
It'll still be the same. Although, if you use it in conjunction with the page theme, you could theoretically create a block that only appeared on a particular page, and that page only appeared in a particular. Well, it's getting really complicated, though. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Nikki. I'm not sure that would actually work, but it's a possibility. I may go play with that when we get off when we get off of here. Sorry, Nikki, we were just thinking about that one. No, we don't think that's going to be possible. It occurs to me. I also wanted to mention, Nikki, that the way a particular theme is responsive and what it does to the elements on the site. While there are some conventions, keep in mind that these themes are developed by individual developers, and they decide exactly how that theme is going to function. Again, I assume they conform to certain standards, but each developer can do pretty much what they want with that particular theme. So one responsive theme may treat blocks and menus in one way, and another responsive theme may treat them in a different way.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end of today's webinar. Thank you all for attending the webinar. This webinar was recorded, and we will post the recording on bookweb.org in case I'm going to show you where the recording will end up. It's on bookweb.org. We have an IndieCommerce webinar center under e-commerce, IndieCommerce webinar center. You will also find recordings from some of our previous webinars here. And next week, same time, we will have an open Q&A session we thought it'll give everyone time to maybe review the webinar content on bookweb.org. And then there is also lots of documentation available on the IndieCommerce Help Center, and anything that we discussed today is all listed under Design Help. The Drupal 7 themes and how to prepare using the theme key, and also how to view it using the Chrome, the inspect element. And also at the bottom, you see we have a page where it lists all the existing live D7, not all, most of the existing live D7 sites that use a responsive theme. We have the name of the store and also the site if you want to take a look at it and see whether that's something that you want to try. So we have this whole list here. And next week, same time, we have an open Q&A session. If you have any questions, you can log in for the webinar. There is no registration required for the open sessions. You can just sign in. You can just log in. And if you go to on BookWeb, there is the IndieCommerce. I think it's called IndieCommerce. There is a page for the IndieCommerce webinar sign-ins, and we will update that page for future webinar dates, topics, and if there is a registration required. We hope to have the topics up there at least 2 weeks before the actual webinar date, so it'll give you time to plan so you can attend these webinars. We will try to keep that 2 weeks time moving forward. So we hope to have some webinars on Google Analytics and also another one on about Authorize.net, about the various features of Authorize.net and the advantages of using your own Authorize.net. And if you already have your own Authorize.net, what you can do with that account. So those are future webinars that we are planning for the next month, and we will post that information on BookWeb. And also, it'll appear on the Message Center as soon as we have the dates finalized for that. And thank you for attending today's webinar, and hope you have a wonderful evening. On behalf of Shanti, Scott, and myself, thank you.